Millions of Americans will be headed out this weekend going to the mall or the grocery store. But worse than the weather, the cold, will be finding that parking spot. What about those people who use handicap parking permits even though they have no disability? How do they explain themselves with cameras rolling? Jim Avila catching them in the act.
It's dawn in the car capital of the world, Los Angeles. And we're on the hunt for handicapped parking cheaters. We're with undercover investigators for the California Department of Motor Vehicles, dressed as harmless pedestrians as they set up a sting for mooching motorists.
This car here is something you're looking at?
Right.
This SUV is parked outside one of LA's chicest hotspots. No, not a nightclub, but the Runyon Canyon hiking trails through the Hollywood Hills. Parking near the gate is legal only for nearby residents or the disabled with parking placards to prove it.
And we ran the placard. It comes back to a male subject. And one of our investigators observed two females walking out of the car.
So there wasn't any man in the car?
There was no man in the car.
He suspects that the women, still off on their hike, are using someone else's handicap placard to score this prime parking spot. Everyone else finds parking in the streets below, then hike up the couple of blocks to the trail entrance. Disabled parking abuse might seem like a small issue of trust, but it does get people everywhere riled up. While visiting a restaurant, Kenny Mills and his wife Julie found a police car parked in the handicapped space. No emergency in sight. Julie posted it on Facebook, where it quickly went viral. The online outrage pouring in.
I would gladly walk and give them my spot.
Despite the obvious bright blue paint and giant wheelchair logo, the cop got no more than a talking to by his boss, since the space lacked a warning sign announcing it's illegal. Back in LA, that black SUV is still parked an hour later.
Copy, 2 women. We're rolling.
The hikers finally return from their workout, and the investigators reveal themselves. The driver says the placard belongs to her handicapped husband. By law, the person it's issued to needs to be in the car for it to be valid.
Parking placard. It's an linear part on a parking tree where you need a permit to park. And the person that this belongs to is not here.
So out comes the citation book. The fine could end up as high as $700.
Hello, how are you? So I'm with ABC 2020, ma'am. I wanted to ask you why you were using the placard to park here and go hiking. Obviously, you were not disabled.
Her poor pooch seemed to share in the embarrassment. Her passenger didn't want to talk either, but instead ducked away and got in some unscheduled exercise.
And these citations are misdemeanor citations for
So it's a crime?
It's a criminal activity.
Vito Scattaglia is the deputy chief of investigations for the California DMV. His investigators have been to Runyon Canyon several times, and so the number of outlaw parkers has dropped off. This neighbor is grateful.
Before the cops start showing up, you had a sea of blue placards?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. We could have 7, 8, 9 cars on this street alone.
He doesn't want his identity revealed for fear of hostile hikers striking back, since he helped bring attention to the rampant abuse in the first place, reporting it on the website handicappedfraud.org.
If they're coming here for exercise, you know, park down there legitimately and get your exercise walking up this hill.
But despite the public shamings and tickets, the days we watched, there were plenty of hikers who did not get the message, including this guy driving the SUV. A handicap placard in his window, he parks illegally and hits the hiking trails with pit bull and passengers. While they're gone, the investigators check his placard and find it registered to a much older male. The couple returns 40 minutes later to an unwanted welcome.
You know it's illegal to use somebody else's placard. I didn't know that.
On top of the fine, the actual owner of the placard, his grandfather, will have to reapply now to get a new one.
This time we're confiscating this placard.
Hi, I'm Jim Avila from ABC News. So I'm just wondering, you're a healthy guy.
Yeah.
Why would you use a handicap sticker to park to go running?
Handicap is for handicap spots.
Are you a handicapped person?
I'm not in a handicap spot, am I?
Right. You're on the street that requires either a permit or a
I'm
handicap.
not in a handicap spot.
But
That's what you should be really concerned about, is people parking in handicap spots, misusing a handicap.
So you've never used the placard to park in a handicap spot?
Never. Why would I park in a handicap spot?
Why would you have a placard on your car when you're not?
This is my mother's car. It's not my car.
But you just happen to use it
I'm
today.
borrowing her car. Yeah.
Anybody ever just say, "I'm sorry, you're right"?
We do run into some of those, but for the most part, they're pretty vocal with us.
Yeah.
But we've had several physical altercations on these type of operations.
What they do here are plenty of excuses. This guy wasn't hiking. He told officers he was using a handicap placard to pick up his grandmother. But they called his bluff and followed him to the front door, where he turned back and admitted the truth.
Wasn't even her house, huh?
No.
So after giving up the game, investigators issued a citation and confiscated his placard.
We're from ABC News. We're wondering why you were using the placard. You don't look to be handicapped.
I am handicapped.
You are?
Yes.
Is that your placard?
Yes.
Why did they take it from you then?
Final stop for these violators? A judge, a fine, possibly community service. The good news is there's now a better option. Hikers can drop off their cars with a new valet service, then hit the trails. The car will be waiting for you when you return. And at just $5 plus tip, it's a lot cheaper than that ticket.